Hey everybody, Jess Intuitive Angel Healer here with your Grounded. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to another episode of Dancing in the Toxic Shadows, finding empowerment and hope through the toxicity. This is a podcast that features an empowered soul swim through the toxic waters and how they have found the courage, strength, and blind faith used to obtain the life they truly want to live, and how they encourage others to take that same leap of faith, no matter if they can only see the first two steps or not. Today, we have a very special guest from Cedar Hill, Texas, Yo Sadler Elam.
Yep. You
Awesome.
got it, girl.
And
You got it. You got it.
she is a few things. Mostly, she's an inspirational speaker, an entrepreneur, a transformational life coach, and fitness coach. And she has a story that she's going to share with you today about her journey through the toxic shadows and how she released her habits and is now freeing her soul of the toxic shadows. So, thank you so much for being here today. I'm
Thank
so
you so
excited
much
to
for
have you.
having me. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. Like, yes, I get to finally sit down with Jess.
I love it. I love, it's fun. It's funny how we get up in our heads by ourselves and then we have proof like you that, we really do make a difference in other people's lives. And most of the time it's silent. We don't know we do, but we're making a way bigger impact than we think we are. So on that note, I want to go ahead and hand it over to you. If you can go ahead and introduce us, where you're from, your
Mhm.
age, and a little bit about your journey.
Of course, of course, of course. My name is Yolanda. My government name is Yolanda, but nobody calls me that. My family calls me Londa. My students call me Mrs. Elam. My friends and people who've been knowing me since I graduated high school call me Yo, which was a nickname given to me by my husband, who was then boyfriend about 32 years ago. I am 48 years old. I have been married for 30 years this year. If you could see me, you would know
Congratulations.
black don't crack because I don't look 48.
I'm saying, right? Like Tina Turner is one good example of that lady's like a million years old,
Girl,
looking like
girl,
she's
and
20.
fine as
Mhm.
hell. Yes, she
Yes.
is. I think, and she might find out she is now. She's about 70 something, maybe. I don't know, but she fine.
Dolly
I have,
Parton the same way. Like I want their
yes,
jeans.
right? I think it's country. I think it's country that don't crack,
I
not the
think
black.
so.
Like,
I
it's just
think
the
so.
country. Cause I'm a country girl. Country girl. I don't call five grandchildren. My grandson is the oldest and four granddaughters. So yeah, for me, let's see. I'm from Waco, Texas. That is a little south of Dallas. I have been in Dallas since I got married at the age of 18. And let me tell you, girl, my name, this is how I start. My name is Yo, and I'm an alcoholic. And when I say it that way, people are like, how can you be excited about being an alcoholic? Let me tell you, because for 2 decades, I drank. And I drank at the beginning. I think how most people started out, just social, just my husband was like, baby, I would love to grab a beer, can you like grab a cooler or something? I'm like, okay, fine. 5% alcohol, I get tipsy off of two coolers. And then as time went past, it progressed. Those coolers turned into amaretto sours, hurricanes, Long Island iced teas. And it wasn't until about them late 30s, early 40s, I started believing I might have a problem. My daughter came home from high school as a freshman, and she told me, "Mom, I think you have an addiction." She said, "I think you're an alcoholic." I said, "No, I'm not. I can quit when I want to. I choose to drink. I like to drink. I'm good." And she read all the little signs and symptoms, and I just ignored it all. But that was a good sign that I probably should have looked into it more, but I didn't. I kept drinking. I kept drinking, and what I was doing is I was masking pain. I was really hurt. I was really broken, and I was really living in a state of fear I didn't even know existed. I was always ambitious. If you could see me or tell me, in high school, I was most spirited female. I was pep club president. I was senior class president. So I was always this ambitious, go getter, change the world kind of girl. Got married, had the kids, walked into teaching, thrived in teaching, teacher of the year, department chair several times. All this stuff looked good and felt good, but it didn't feel right. I didn't feel like me. So I started getting frustrated and angry that I wasn't living this life I really wanted. I wasn't happy. I wasn't walking in joy. So I kept drinking. I kept drinking to cover it all up. I just covered everything. I didn't want any pain, any anger, any frustration. So I would drink. At the beginning, it was fun. I would drink, have a good time. I'd watch shows, I'd be laughing. But by the time I got to the end of a couple of bottles, I started crying and woe is me and cussing my husband out. And it just got horrible. And it got so bad that my last drinking day, which was March 2019, I walked into my house. Normal routine. I go straight to the kitchen. I got my glass and I got my bottle. At the time, it was Baron White Merlot, 14.5%. I always went by the percentages. The higher percentages, the quicker that buzz was. And I poured my glass, walked into my family room, glass on the table, me on the couch. As I'm waiting for the show to start, it was a Thursday, so it was either Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder, because those were my two shows. I sat down on my couch, and literally, the way I'm talking to y'all, the way I'm talking to Jess, I looked at that glass of wine and started having a conversation aloud. And I told it, I'm always being active because that's how painful it was. I don't want you. I don't want you. I'm sick of what you're doing to me. I'm sick of how I was feeling. I was tired of the blackouts. I was tired of lying to my husband. And I was really tired of my 25-year-old at the time daughter coming to rescue me. And she only would drink with me just so I wouldn't drink so much by myself. And it hurt. It hurt that I couldn't quit. It hurt that I couldn't stop. And I really, really, really wanted not to drink that night. I talked to the glass. And I prayed and I cried. And with all my strength, I could not pick it up. I sat there and I picked up that glass and I drank it. The rest of the bottle I started, another liter in the kitchen. I always had a stash. And I took about 25 anxiety medication pills. Because that Friday morning, I just didn't want to wake up. That's how painful I was. That's how much pain I was in. I was so tired. I hurt so bad on the inside and I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't stop. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Was I just weak? Was I being lazy? Was I immature? Was I just set up to just, be a failure and die from it? And so my husband found out what I'd done. And in an effort to console me, he tried to get me to calm down and try to get me to explain what's going on. He got scared basically. And so he called the police and he called the ambulance. And I just like, fuck it, I'm running down the middle of the street. So I ran to the middle of the street, just hoping that some car would come by, hit me real quick. And so I get out there and the car swerved. And I'm like, you pussy! I was so mad. I'm like, I'm trying to die. You ain't helping me out. I can laugh now, but that's how much pain I was in.
I've been there before, right?
So. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ice suicide or anything like that.
No, but all of us that have been in this state of mind at some point, and whether you want to admit it or not, all of us have been at this point at some state in our life, and it's what you do with that choice afterwards that matters, not what happens in that moment of when you're making that choice.
You're right. And that's what I did. I chose to go ahead and go to the hospital. I chose to go into a rehab, and I chose to pay attention during my therapy sessions and found out that I had a disease. And that was like the best gift I had been given was when my therapist said, alcoholism is a disease. I'm like, what? So yeah, it's a disease. Like there's no cure for it. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing wrong with me. I have a sickness that cannot be cured, but it can be treated. And once I realized that, I was like, the fudge, let's go. I just have something that I can actually put a label on. I can touch it and say, this is what's going on with me. Now, how can I get better? And so ever since then, I've just been working on being the real me with all the ugliness that I was trying to avoid. You know what I mean? I know you understand, right?
That really, your whole story, I'm an empath, so like I'm trying to hold back the tears here because I can feel the emotions and I'm intuitive too, so I can see like, your whole scene. And it brings me back to, I'm working on my book right now. I'm going to turn 40 here on the 19th.
What? Wait,
And
don't crack either, girl. I thought you was in your late 20s, mid 30s.
yeah, nope, I'm about to be 40. And so I had my spiritual awakening in 2017, and I'm a spiritual coach and I'm a healer and all this. But it dawned on me, what am I going to do for my next 40 years? You always hear your next 40 years and you don't really understand it till you get there. And now I've gotten there and I understand that all the chaos in my life and everything that's happened is part of a karmic lesson that, I was a part of. And I was writing the part about my dad because I'm very cautious, and it's not even because I have to be, it's because I'm respectful. Even though my dad wasn't a bad person, my mom wasn't a bad person, they were just really misguided and filled with a lot of criticism and negative energy. But my parents, they loved me, and I always make it a point to say, hey, I didn't have bad parents. I wasn't
Right,
neglected by them.
right. Yeah.
They just my dad was a super bad alcoholic. He drank.
Mm.
At the end of his life, he died at like 44.
Ooh.
And that's why I'm telling you the story, because at 16, he was drinking so much. He ended up living out in the college area in New Mexico, in UNM area, and that's where like the bums and stuff just sit. And he found some guy, got a little apartment, and they were drinking buddies, and he would drink like a pint of whiskey to wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
or vodka, a pint of vodka to
Ooh.
wake up in the morning because he had the shakes so bad. He
Ooh.
like
Girl,
four
you give me
packs of
goosebumps.
he smoked like
Ooh.
4 packs of
Yeah.
cigarettes, and it made me really sad. And so I've been faced with that my whole life, that I can decide to either suppress my pain and my stuff with alcohol, which I think I tried after my divorce. I tried to drink. I tried pick up drinking, and I
Yeah.
would drink like so I would drink it all in one, like a cup this big full of this much alcohol, and
Uh-huh.
be drunk in like 10 minutes and then pass out and then get this and then feel sick. And I was like, I don't like this.
I don't
So
like that. Yeah.
I didn't pick up drinking, but my
Yeah.
brother unfortunately did pick up
Mm.
my dad's drinking. And this man could drink, and so can he. And he's had a DWI. He got
Yeah.
almost 2 DWIs. He's woke up in the driveway, like, because he's
Yeah.
so drunk you can't get him
Yeah.
inside the house. And
Yeah.
all of that, it's okay, because at some point I always tell people I'm not my trauma. And
Oh, beautiful.
whatever you have has happened to make you that person, you're not that person no more.
No.
And I think it's awesome that your creator gave you a second chance to be with your 5 grandchildren
Yeah.
and not take you away. Because I'm sorry, I understand it's not just about being an alcoholic. It's about, now that I'm an energy healer, I know about chakras. And when somebody
Mm.
drinks that much to numb the pain, you have
Yeah.
a broken heart chakra. And so my dad literally died of a broken
Broken
heart
heart. Mm.
because his inner child was so wounded. And
Yes.
he
Oh my
was,
God.
what's even weirder is both my parents were both adopted. Okay. So I give him a pass for his alcoholism. Now, I don't give him a pass for when he just totally lost his mind and created some chaos that he shouldn't have done. And he's in spirit and he knows better, because I've been
Oh.
talking to my dad in spirit since I was 16, because this is what also happens is you spend your whole afterlife following your kids, begging for their forgiveness because you
Really?
didn't mean to. Yes, and that's what my dad has done, and that's why
Oh.
I've been pushed on this whole journey, because he loved me and he really didn't mean to, but his human self checked out. And I feel like people at a point of your disease, whatever
Yeah.
your addiction is,
Yeah.
it is not you anymore. You
Mm.
literally have a gargoyle sitting on top of your head, putting this
Ooh.
trance on you, and your soul has checked out and went to its real home. Now, I feel like
Ooh.
when people turn around like yourself, that is because you had your soul finally, you gravitated above the negativeness above
Yeah.
that trance and your vibrations high enough that now your soul can come back and go, whew, I can be there again because I can't.
Because I can't be in that craziness.
Your
Yeah.
higher
Yeah.
self's not going to
Yeah.
participate. Your angels, it's not that your creator hates you. It's that
No.
your angels and your creator are not going to participate in your hijinks and your
Yeah.
your
Oh
your
goodness.
sadness. So um
Girl, that was beautiful. It's funny you keep saying words that I just realized or I was just told about myself 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago today, I had my first reading, spiritual reading with a muse. Didn't know what that was either. And a muse and a medium. And so she told me that I was an empath. And she told me that I was clairvoyant, clairsentient, and intuitive. And the more you kept talking, different things you said, I just kept getting these goosebumps.
yeah,
I just kept getting these little tingles inside, like
that's your
that,
angels.
like see, I don't know what, but it's like I like that. I like the woo woo. I'm starting to get into the woo woo. Like it means something because I felt what you were saying.
Thank
It's like that resonated so much to me, like about your brother, about your dad, and not just because of the alcohol, but I think because of the
the
just
pain, the
yes,
pain that you
exactly,
endure.
yes, that's what
We
it was.
we stuff down so much pain, and it's never convenient to have a midlife crisis. It's never convenient to have
Right?
a mental health crisis.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never convenient to have a crisis when it stops you from being productive. And if you're around narcissists, then that really screws up their plans because
ooh,
hey, now
goodness,
you're not doing what you're supposed to do for them. And
yeah,
that's what I really woke up one day and was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm waking up every day to do stuff for everyone else.
but
Oh,
you,
dying in my car driving off the road because I'm so tired, I'm falling
yeah,
asleep. And at the end of the day, what am I getting? A whole bunch of nothing. And it was all taken from me because if you create your life around something that is not your true purpose, your
yes.
angels are going to dismantle it all to get you back down to yourself. And that's what I feel that you have
I
done.
love that because that's exactly what it feels like. I feel like when I got out of rehab, when I started looking for the other thing, when I left the classroom the first time, I felt like a sense of peace I had never experienced because I've been teaching 20 years, and well, it was 19 at the time, and I only went back this year because I had to increase my income because of COVID, and I got laid off from the gym I was working at for training and stuff, and so I had to go back to school. I didn't have to. I chose to go back to teaching to get the money, but I just even now I feel so confident that I am walking in my light from launching the podcast to speaking to you on these podcast interviews to speaking about my story that I know I'm being me. Like I know this is the me that I was avoiding, I guess, or afraid
Mhm.
to open up because I didn't know what it's gonna look like, and I still don't know what it's gonna look like. But I know I'm in the right direction. I know I'm in the right
I
direction. I
know
haven't even
you are.
said I have not been able to speak that kind of clarity in decades, like decades. But so I know what I'm doing. I know this is why, and it feels good. It just feels good.
It
It feels
does,
so good.
and if you look at it as an onion, healing happens
Yes.
in layers. It doesn't happen all at one time because you got to remember how many years did you take to create all
Two
this stuff.
decades. 2 decades.
It's not
I
going to
mean,
go away in one
I
day.
say really bad about the last five were horrible. But before that, just drinking all the time. If it was a day I drank. House parties, happy hours, everything.
And it's crazy to me that America has such a big issue with marijuana. I live in Colorado, okay, and it's legal here. But from my life of being around narcissists and alcoholics, like, because my dad wasn't the only alcoholic. No, I've got to be around the whole gamut from my
Wow.
dad
Your
to
brother,
crazy people. And I've been
yeah.
around every kind of alcoholic you can imagine. I'm like,
Wow.
I can pull the whole AA meeting into my, like, I could literally I've been around it all, and I just noticed that you know people aren't bad because they're alcoholics, and but they get a lot more crazier drinking. I've had more crazier experiences. Started out with somebody just having a beer,
That's right.
and then
Yep.
all of a sudden, couple
They
hours
cussing and
later,
throwing and spitting and trying to die. Yeah.
I had
It's
one of
funny
my
you said that. My lift, I lifted home today. And the driver was really just very friendly. But he was talking about because I told I told him I was going on my podcast, share my recovery story with a beautiful woman about toxicity. And so he was like, he used to be an addict, yada yada. But he talked about the marijuana and alcohol comparison. And he said
Mm-hmm.
it amazes him that how weed is illegal, right? But
Mm-hmm.
alcohol can literally kill you if you drink too much of it. It can kill you trying to withdraw from it. Because I remember having the shakes. I swore I was gonna die right before
Mm-hmm.
I tried to die. Like that, I could. My hand would be like this. And this is like not controlling. I'm doing it now, but just literally, I tried to go to the bathroom, my legs were shaking. It was horrible. I felt sick. I was like losing weight. But I can't. But I don't smoke. So I kind of can. But I don't smoke weed. But I can. I can understand how we have this big hoopla.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't smoke marijuana. You're going to jail for marijuana selling and everything else. But alcohol, you can. I mean,
I could pull up so many life histories, like in our history right now. I could pull up so many things that started off with alcohol, and
yeah,
not one of them I can remember anybody ever got. I'm just putting it out there. I don't
yeah,
care which way you believe, either way.
right.
But my point is, one, why can we only legalize? We're all one nation under God, right? 50 states, but yeah, each state is their own decision maker, and only one
Exactly.
person, one state can you're legal, you step over in the other state, you're going to prison for
Prison for it.
25
Yeah.
years.
One
And
nation under God. I
it
never thought about that way. But
it
so
makes no
divided.
sense to
One
me.
nation under God, but completely divided and
Yes.
separated.
I
Girl.
I don't
Mm-mm.
understand. That's why these things don't matter. Just like you can be in a COVID pandemic
Yeah.
and you can go to a restaurant as long as you have a mask on, but at some point you're going to take your mask off. And what does the COVID just sit around and says, "Oh,
Oh,
all
yeah,
those
you're
around
gonna
you,
wait.
go there, they're eating." Yeah, right. Somebody's going to sneeze, achoo, and now I just got your COVID because I was a medical assistant in infectious disease for many years. And I don't ever remember them saying in the nursing home with MRSA that, oh, they have MRSA, just put your mask on, you know, you won't catch it. Oh, and if
Wow.
you take off your mask, you're not going to catch it. Yeah.
And
Our world makes
did
no sense.
did you know that with COVID, like did you know the alcohol stores were essential? That's what it's
Yes.
that kind of stupidity. Like, what the fuck? The liquor stores were essential. Like, it's essential, huh? Which I'm
Hmm.
granted. If I was still drinking, I would have needed it. But I kind of can
Great.
get a little. I can understand if you understood that it's essential because, like I said, like you can die from withdrawal and stuff. But it truly is not essential. Not to
But
the
how
point
is
that
it essential for all these people to be boarded up in their houses with their abusers,
that's
and now
right.
their abusers are
That's right.
boarded up with them
That's
drunk?
right. Yeah.
Yay
And
for
drinking
us.
and everything else. Yeah. It just didn't make no damn sense to me. This country and us. You're right.
I just like
Uh,
to make random points of,
I love that one
people
nation
want
under
to come
God.
down on you about drinking, but and here's one more joke before we leave. And what's the difference between an alcoholic and a stoner? A stoner will wait, or an alcoholic will run the stop sign. A stoner will wait for the stop sign to turn green. Oh, I had to throw that one in there.
Oh, no, I got one for you. I got one for you. What's the difference between a social drinker, heavy drinker, and alcoholic?
Huh.
So each of them have a drink in front of them with a fly inside of it. The social drinker sees the fly, it's disgusting, throws the drink to the side. The heavy drinker sees the fly, picks it up, tosses the fly, drinks the drink. The alcoholic sees the fly, picks the drink up, picks up the fly, looks at it, and says, "Spit it out, you son of a bitch."
That was
Because they gotta have their liquor. Don't take that liquor from them.
and this is hilarious because it's kind of like if you ever
Oh,
watch that show Mom. I love
I
it
do
because
sometimes,
they're
yeah.
just so honest about, you know what? I know I'm a bad person and I know that I have a horrible reputation that
Yeah,
precedes me, but
yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to
Don't give a
continue.
damn no more. Yeah. Like you said, it's not who I am. I'm not my trauma.
I love
I've
it.
gotten past it. My elevation is high. I've been reignited with my soul.
I love it. So, what does a daily self-care routine look like every day now to help keep your mind, body and soul centered so you don't relapse? Because that's the biggest thing is even I
Okay.
notice I have severe PTSD and anxiety and traumas, and everybody's always told me just get over it. And I'm like, I'm really trying to get over it, but as you get over stuff
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
start progressing.
Yeah. I will tell you.
The more you talk about it, you can still re-trigger yourself, because I want to make that a point that it doesn't matter if I've been working on this for 4 years straight, being out here talking to people. Sometimes it gets to be a little too much, even talking about my story, because now I'm even though I've healed it,
Mhm.
I don't know. That's where I come to, when is it truly healed?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
manage it, and so I'm really
Yeah.
big on
Yeah.
self-care. So what does that look like for you?
I can tell you what I want it to look like. Talk about authenticity. Because I'm real big about trying, like I said, the fitness training and everything else. Every time I think about it, I kind of go into my own little like old victim mindset. But what I want it to look like, what it actually looks like. What I want to do is I want to wake up with a gratitude every day. I want to wake up and share 3 things I'm grateful for and speak my positive affirmations, which includes my sobriety speech, the serenity prayer. I want to before any of that, I want to dedicate my day to my Lord and Savior and ask him, what do you want me to do today? Who do you want me to speak to? Where do you want me to go? And then after the affirmations and the gratitudes, I want to stretch. I want to take care of my hygiene. I want to work out for an hour. I want to have breakfast in the morning with my drink for the day, coffee or whatever, and relax and get into the mentality today is going to be amazing. That's what I want it to be like. What it's like is that it all sounds good and looks good, but I getting up in the morning, whatever time that is. I try to say 4:30 or 5, but I listen to my body a lot. It wakes up when it wakes up. I tell my alarm clock to cut off 3 or 4 times before I actually get out the bed. I go to the bathroom first because I can't hold my pee before I try to do my devotions and my affirmations. So I go pee first. Then I come back to the bed and I do say, God, what you want me to do today? How you want me to behave? And I listen to my devotional on my Echo Dot. And if I'm lucky, I would have got up, got in time to get dressed, go to work, get my little coffee on to go, and have a productive day before I get home. That's kind of what it's been doing because I haven't crossed over that line of being interested in being in, having a commitment. I mean, having a routine and being committed to having a routine. So I'm still in the interest stage, but
And
I've been
that's
there before. But that's as authentic as you can get. That's what
and
I
that
want to
and that,
be. That's not what it is.
but that's okay, because you know what? That is truly where a lot of people are out there, and that's what I tell people. I'm a big speaker of self-care, because
Yeah.
self-care isn't what people teach what self-care is.
Right. Yes.
People teach you self-care is going and getting your nails
Manicure,
and a
pedicure.
massage
Yes. Yes.
and going
Massages.
on a
That right.
vacation.
Right.
And
Nope.
while that is a form of self-care and it is fun to do that, and I really, really need to do that right now just to get away, because this life is full of way too much negativity some days. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, y'all people need to go take a salt bath, or I don't know, go pray or something, because you're just angry. But I make sure, just having something that you do, if you can just wake up each
Yeah.
day and be better than you were yesterday, that's all that matters. And to be in this present moment. And I always tell people, if you want to have a productive, positive day, the reason why you don't start out getting on your phone, because that's our biggest nemesis, is
That's
this
right.
bad boy
That's
right
right.
here, our
Yes.
phone.
Mm-hmm.
We get on there and we start getting fed all this information that we're only supposed to, our brain, we don't even use but what, like 6% of our
10%, I think.
brain.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you're getting all this information, and by before you even leave your house, you're negative. You're like,
Yes.
this world sucks.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I get up and I try to not get on my phone for the first 30 minutes of being awake, because that gets me into my brain. I got to first acclimate to waking up, because I think when you've been through a lot of abuse and trauma in your life, it's you would probably understand when you, that first eye opening, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm back
Yeah.
in the world. Okay, where's
Yeah.
here?
Right. Yeah.
My world's
Yeah.
safe. Okay, you got to
Am I
kind of
in my
check
bed?
that.
Am I in my house? Okay. Okay.
And
I'm
I'm not
okay.
around that crazy person no more. Whew.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But you have to think this way, because that's what your brain, you start living in all this, memories of the past. But if you can wake up every day and just say, how can I serve people?
Yes.
And I've
Yes,
noticed,
girl.
if I get up and I just get up to, how can I help people? What can I
Yes.
do today? Not to help myself, and not to say, how much money am I going to make? Because that definitely doesn't help me out. If I
It
set my
doesn't.
intention to, how many souls can I touch with kindness and
Mm.
love today? I literally just all of a sudden will make $500 that day because my focus isn't on
Ooh.
making that money. It is on helping. And my angels told me if I will stop running away and I will stand up to my fears and I will live my purpose as I'm supposed to, they're going to keep giving me and supporting me. And if you ever notice when you're on your darkest days, you're never alone, because maybe you don't notice it because your ego is like, blinding you from
Yeah.
it. But if you really pay attention and you look back on the really dark moments of your life, do you ever notice you had that little bit of help that just magically showed up?
Yeah. Right.
And that's
Yeah.
your angels. And that's what I've
Yes.
learned. And this whole spiritual awakening has taught me, I'm an empath, I'm a light worker. I'm supposed to go through these experiences to teach others.
Mm.
Not fun.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
bet.
probably talk to my creator about that one
I bet.
later,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, you know
Yeah.
what?
Like, you sure? You sure? Like, I don't know.
At some
Yeah.
things I'm like, but you know what? I've also learned that it's not just my karma. I'm dealing with other people's karma, and I learned that when I was a new coach and I was trying to coach someone through abuse, like
Mm.
sexual abuse as a kid,
Ooh.
and I had to
As an
really
empath
dig
too? Oh, girl.
I had to dig down deep, because I'm not going to tell you it is not your fault if you've had that happen. But I was like, how can I explain this? Because I don't want to just, it's not my fault. Well, great, I know that. I want to know
Mm.
why it happened. And so I really prayed and spoke with my angels on this, and I found that when other people don't, like, say your mom, for example. So if somebody has a toxic mom who's got a bunch of toxic people around, well, they're
Yeah.
bringing in those toxic people around you, and you as a kid are being protected as much as an angel possibly can. But unfortunately, because your parent isn't facing up to their karma, you're now
Oh,
reciprocating
like
their,
generational curses. Yeah. Yeah.
and
It
and
just keeps
that's
coming down the chain.
and
Yeah.
then when you have a kid, then your kid,
Yeah.
something happens to her, and you understand that it is not your fault. But it is important to not let fear take over, because everybody comes in your life as a lesson or a blessing. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel. And if somebody comes in your life as a lesson,
Mm.
instead of getting angry, learn what you were supposed to
Supposed to
learn
learn
from
from
them,
that. Yeah.
so you'll never have to face that again. And that's my
Yeah.
biggest thing I was told. And I've learned, if I face the things that I'm afraid of or the things I'm running from, guess what? You'll never have to do it again. It'll
Oh, that's
literally,
yes.
and you're
Yeah.
like, why didn't I do this so long
Before,
ago?
yeah.
You're like, I sat here and drank and did all this and a big thing is we made contracts before we came on this earth.
I
Okay.
keep
So
hearing this thing, soul contracts and
soul
stuff.
contracts. So
Yeah.
we sat up there at a little table, and this is
Yeah.
my idea of how it went down. Um, is that the angels and me were sitting at the table, and they're like, all right, you're going to go to your mission Earth, and you're going to go and do this. And they're like, here's a couple of life lessons. They were going to make it nice. I was like, nope. I can do this. Here, go and give me like 5 or 6, okay? And make them sure they're really tough, because I didn't learn my lesson last time I went down
Yeah.
on Earth. And that's the only thing I can think of, is that and I was told also by the angels, Archangel Michael said, if when you're starting to feel this way, and whether you understand the angels or not,
Mhm.
overlook this and listen to this part, is that when you are going through these repetitive life lessons, because now these are karmic lessons, and you're tired of these contracts, all you need to do is ask your angels, please dissolve the contracts. I have learned my lesson,
Oh,
and let me be free. And I'll send you a thing after this. But
nice.
it really, you can stop the nightmare anytime that you want to. We're in a dream. And if you read the 4 agreements,
Girl,
mhm,
that is the third. This is the third confirmation to read this damn book. It's fun,
It's
and it's
only
come from
100
all
pages.
different kinds of people. I finally got it on Audible last week. It's 2.5 hours long. Like I said, I can do that in a sitting. But I'm reading that book. I thought I was gonna read from second confirmation. I'm really sad now. I'm just gonna read the damn book. I can't believe that.
And it's the 4 agreements. If you can live your life by the 4 agreements, you'll never
Wow.
have any issues.
Just when I tell you that it was a student of mine who just happened to reach out last week, and he and I were talking, and he was like, Miss E, have you read the 4 agreements? I'm like, no, but I keep hearing about this book. Somebody on Clubhouse was sharing. It's like, yeah, you got to read the 4 agreements. I'm like, okay, if I hear about this doggone thing one more time.
So the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, never take anything personally, never make assumptions, and always do your best.
Wow.
And this is the kind of book that if you can go back and read it, and I have the book, and I continue to read it, and I actually love it so much that I got Oracle cards, which are really cool. You can get them off of Amazon, and I really highly suggest if you want to have extra help, it's really cool that it's all the agreements on cards. So
Okay.
what Spirit does is with Oracle cards, because people who don't understand Spirit is it doesn't, it's not the vessel that you use. You could use tea leaves and get a message from Spirit.
Okay.
These are cards, but when you say, what message do I need for the day, and you can pull it out and it'll pull one of the 4 agreements out. And
Woo!
depending on your energy and
They
what
got those goosebumps again. They that tingle again. Oh my gosh.
no, depending on what you're going to go through that day, like, so you might, or what you have on your mind. So say you got into conflict with someone, and y'all didn't understand each other, and we're in retrograde right now. So until the 20th, know that you will be miscommunicating with everyone because Mercury is in retrograde.
Okay.
And that just means Mercury is the planet of communication. So it appears to be going backwards right now when it's going in retrograde. So just think about all your communication.
Okay.
Be patient.
Okay. But I know a metaphysicist now too. He worked for the School of Metaphysics for 20 years. So I've talked to him a little bit about some of these things too. So okay.
But these are, if you get those cards, those are very awesome, because like I will just pull one, and if I've had a conflict and it's weighing on my mind, like I've taken somebody personally, what they thought of me is none of my, I always tell people, other people's opinion of you is none of
my business. That's right. Yep.
And
that's yes, ma'am. That's a book too. That's a book.
Yes. And that's what I love about the 4 agreements, is that it really helps you to understand, that we create our reality with our thoughts. Thoughts are things. And the more that you start opening up on this journey, you're starting to understand, you're an awesome person, and you're this vessel of awesomeness that we have been suppressed into feeling like a piece of poop, because if we got to be as awesome as we really wanted to be, we would hurt the egos of all the people that we were around at that moment.
Wow. It's like that poem, our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we're powerful beyond being, or something like that. It's like, it's not that you don't make it, but it's afraid that you'll make it and it'll be so
overwhelming,
awesome, that you can't handle it. Like even right now, I kind of get a little, not worried, but it's a little fearful. Be like, is this really true? Like, am I really at this fork in the road where I'm, going this direction? It feels right and it's good. Like, you kind of go like, wait a minute, that can't be right. Something's wrong, but it's not. It's not. It's just walking in purpose and freedom.
Exactly. And after you do it for a few years, you're like, hey, I can start doing this. And I notice all my songs and stuff are really, like, now I'm the angel weirdo that is singing. Like, sometimes I'll tune into Christian songs, not that I'm religious, but I just love the energy of it. And I love being the person I am. I'm not an aggressive creature of this toxic society that I lived in for so long, that I tried to be a part of. And now I feel like you kind of feel that freedom too. You can just get up and live, and you don't have to, who cares what anybody's judgments are, because you know what? when it comes down to it, they're going through, I don't care if somebody's forcing their judgment on you.
Yeah.
Just stop and ask them, so what are you dealing with in your
Yes.
life? Because you
Exactly.
have a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Their judgment, their everything. It's like when they start just kind of, I guess they talk outside their neck is what I call it. Like, oh, it
Yeah.
must be some. What is it? When somebody said, oh my God, your opinion of me is not of me, it's really of yourself, or something like
Mm-hmm.
they're seeing something in themselves that they don't like and they're projecting it onto you. And
That
I
is
was
so
like,
true.
that's some deep shit. That really is like, you're right. Because I did that. I didn't know I was doing it, but that's what I did. I kept pushing my pain and my anger on somebody else and blaming them. And it was everything that I was, not living up to, or that I wasn't resonating with. Girl,
It's crazy.
it's
I
great.
love this whole conversation.
Me
So
too.
glad you got to come here and share your
Me
journey today. So
too.
we're gonna wrap this up. What guidance would you give fellow beautiful souls out there that are doing a similar toxic dance,
Yeah.
that either A, want to get out of it, or B, they've gotten out of it and they're on the, teeter
Yeah.
totter of
Mm-hmm.
whether they're going to relapse or not? What guidance would you give them to help them feel empowered?
What I do is I tag it into a mnemonic for hope. I want you to know that there is hope. There's hope in the hopelessness. There's hope in that darkness. And the H is for help. It's okay to ask for it, and it's okay to need it. And all you got to do is simply express your feelings to somebody else. Just let somebody know if you're angry, if you're pain, if you're worried, if whatever it is that you think is going on with you, share it. Seek some help. The O is ownership. You have to make a decision if you're going to be a survivor or a victim. Because if you want to fight this thing, because it's whatever it is, whether it's overeating, whether it's over shopping, overspending, addiction, whatever it is, you got to click that survivor box because you're going to have to fight. So ownership is the O. The P is for pause. When you start to pick up whatever it might be, for me, it was the bottle. Somebody else might be the pills. Somebody else, like I said, might be the dollars and spending. Pause and ask yourself, why? Why am I doing what I'm doing right now? And if the answer has to do with anybody else or anything else from your past, again, take a pause and ask yourself that question. And the E is go easy on yourself. Don't try to think that you're going to fix this situation overnight. It took me 2 decades to get to where I am. And it's not going to take me 2 years to all of a sudden be, oh, I'm healed. Like you said earlier, you might not ever really heal, but you can constantly grow. You can constantly grow and evolve. So, and then the C, I call it hope seed. And the C is to celebrate. Celebrate little bitty things. Celebrate that you didn't drink that day, or that you didn't overspend the day. Just celebrate little bitty things that you made an effort and you tried. So seek help, take ownership, pause, take it easy on yourself, and celebrate. That's my tips to my fellow brothers and sisters out there who are still struggling for whatever reason. There's hope.
I love it. That's very important. And I could feel your energy. I know you've given a lot of people hope on
I
this
hope so.
interview today.
I hope so.
Where
I hope
can
so.
I know you have. I don't even hope. I just know that you were divinely brought here, and all my guests are divinely brought here from to have an experience with me, because I've learned that I'm the messenger. I'm here
Mm,
to either deliver a message or share something that makes you reflect on what you're currently going through, and that's kind of how the universe works. And other guests come on with me
yeah.
and the vice
Yeah.
versa. So it's a
Yeah.
fun thing that we both receive healing um, kind of through this whole interview. And I
I
really
loved it.
enjoy the connection.
Me too. That's why I love about the I'm walking in my purpose.
I
This
love
is
it.
so natural for me. I love connecting. I love meeting people. I love telling my story and hearing theirs. That's why I want to do my own podcast. I just want to be on the other side, like, oh, yay!
Well, we'll definitely be seeing that from you soon.
Yes.
Now, how
Yes.
can our audience reach out to you if they want to just chat with you, get some inspiration, or maybe invite you on a podcast?
Oh, excellent question. Well, first of all, you can hit me up on any of my social media. I believe I'm gonna give the links to Jess, and she can put them in the bottom of the podcast. But I'm at Love Your Life at Love Your Life. So it's LoveYolife on most of my socials. At Love Your Life 37 is Twitter. I mean, it's Instagram. At Love Your Life is Facebook. But you also can find my group called Be Yourself Every Day. You'll see my picture in front of a red umbrella surrounded by black umbrellas because we're also unique. So Be Yourself Every Day is my group. And then, like I said, I'm on the handles on social and I'm on Clubhouse. If you haven't got on there yet, you want to get on there, and it's at Love Your Life. And I think that's it. I want to give you the links so you can have everybody click on them. But for the most
Awesome.
part,
Yeah,
yeah.
I will have all the links at the bottom of this podcast. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here today. You truly are a beacon of light and a beacon of hope for so many out there. I wish you continued success on your journey.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. I
You're
receive it
welcome.
all.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, beautiful souls. Another powerful guest that has learned how to survive their swim in the toxic waters and break up with their toxic dance partner, fear. If
Mm.
you need help trying to find a new dance partner, please reach out to myself or Yo.
Yep. Come on
um,
through. We can
and
keep you
let us show you
also.
and let us show you how a single four-letter word can change your life, and that four-letter word is love. With love, all things are possible. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Dancing in the Toxic Shadows. Until we meet again, this is Just Intuitive Angel Healer sending healing angel vibes. Love and light, everybody. Take care.